Hello everyone, my name is Zenitsu, and I'm back with another episode of Spoiler Sundays. So this is the time of the week where I take a look at all of the new news and spoilers that we got over in Japan and, well, talk about them. So as far as the news goes, we did get a tiny bit new information on the reprint set, and we know that the 33 new cards is going to be themed based around the Ghost Games anime. So it's going to be exciting to see what cards they bring from the anime over to here, and what new cards those are going to hold. But as far as the spoilers go, we got the rest of BT12 spoiled for us, so let's just dive right in and go over these new cards. So first up, we have Uamano. So Uamano is making the transition to black, and he's still going to be a 3-costed tamer. He has the ability where at the start of your main phase, you could place one Digimon card with save from its text from your hand underneath this card to be able to gain a memory. And his secondary ability states that during your turn, when your Digimon would digivolve into a Digimon with save in its text, then you could suspend this tamer, place a card from underneath him to the bottom of that tamer's Digivolution source to reduce the cost of that Digivolution by 1. So he's just doing what all of the other hunters are doing, but in black this time. Next up, we got a new version of Chuchumon. So Chuchumon is going from purple to black, and Chuchumon, he does come with his own on-delete save ability himself, with the inheritable ability where during the opponent's turn, while this Digimon has save in its text, then it gains the blocker ability, so this is just what's going to be able to give blocker to the rest of your save-type Digimon. Next, continuing on with his evolution line, we have a new version of Gammamon. So Gammamon, actually this one is a Cross Hearts Digimon, which is pretty interesting on top of being his other type, and he, like a lot of the others, digivolves for 2 on top of any level 3 with save in its description, and he's pretty good considering he has an on-play and when digivolve ability. It states that we get to reveal the top 3 cards from our deck. Then we get to place one Taiki, Yu, or Tageru from among them onto the field for free, and then return the rest to the bottom. So this is going to be acting as the setup card for the Good Guys Hunter deck versus the Villain Hunter deck. Then he has an on-delete ability of save himself, and we could place a card with save in its description from our trash underneath one of our tamers with his own Digicross 2, so that way he can be cheap and easier to play with any card with save in its description, and his inheritable ability, like Chuchumon, also spreads blocker. And then to wrap up what Yu has, we have a new version of Tawarmon. So Tawarmon is this version being a Cross Hearts Digimon on top of his other types. He has that same alternative Digivolution cost that we've seen with a lot of these other save-based cards, and he has his own when Digivolving ability, where we get to de-Digivolve on one of the opponent's level 5 or below Digimon, and then for every 2 cards in this Digimon's Digivolution source, we could increase the range of this effect by 1, so the larger the stack, the more targets he'll be able to de-Digivolve, but still at least being able to de-Digivolve is still pretty decent. He also has an on-delete ability of save, and that extra bit where we could stash a card from our trash underneath our tamer as well, with that same inheritable ability of being able to spread and give blocker. Next, we have a new version of Shoutmon. So this new version of Shoutmon isn't doing anything too special. He is going to digivolve for 0 on top of any level 2 with save, on top of the fact that he does have save, and he's just going to be acting as some decent DP deletion on his inheritable ability of when attacking once per turn. If this Digimon has save in its description, then we get to delete one of the opponent's Digimon with 4,000 or less DP for some good low-level control. Next, we have a brand new version of Omni Shoutmon. So Omni Shoutmon is going to be a red level 5 Digimon still, and he could digivolve for 3 on top of any level 4 with save in its description. Then he has a nice inheritable ability that's more DP based deletion, so when digivolving up into this card, you get to choose any number of the opponent's Digimon whose total DP adds up to 4,000 or less and delete them. Then for every 2 cards in this Digimon's Digivolution source, we get to add 3,000 to the maximum number of DP that we could choose from with his DP deletion effect. So the more, again, cards we stack underneath him, the more powerful this removal ability gets on a level 5 body. then during your turn, while this card has 4 or more Digivolution sources underneath him, then he gains the security attack +1 if we want to be aggressive with this card. Then on top of that, he has that same inheritable ability we just saw with our Shoutmon, where it's just going to allow us to DP delete the opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP or less, as long as our Digimon has save in its description when it's attacking. And then as far as the last Tamer goes and the last Hunter goes, it's going to be a brand new version of Taiki. So this version of Taiki is just doing what all of the other hunters are doing. He is 3 cost, he is still a Cross Hearts and a hunter, on top of the fact that he is going to be drawing us a card when we place a card underneath him with save in its text, and on top of that, he just, again, like all of the other hunters, reduces the Digivolution cost by 1 for using the cards underneath him with save when we're going to be Digivolving. So each of the different hunters have their own different ability when we're putting cards underneath or to get cards underneath, and then they all have that cost reduction ability to try to make their respective decks as cohesive as they possibly can. And then the last option card that we got spoiled in the set is going to be Final Crossblade. So Final Crossblade is a 9-costed red option card with the main ability where we get to delete the opponent's Digimon. So it's already acting like Gaia Force, except a little bit more expensive. But for the Shoutmon Cross 7 Superior Mode deck, it's going to be a little bit more worth it than a Gaia Force, because then we get to unsuspend one of our Shoutmon Cross 7 Superior Modes in play, and then attack the opponent with that card. So we've seen this type of ability with Gaia Force 0, where the option allows us to attack the opponent's Digimon, and this is just that for Shoutmon Cross 7 Superior Mode, with its security ability still basically being Gaia Force deleting one of the opponent's Digimon outright. And then the last card and last secret rare in the set is going to be Shoutmon Cross 7 Superior Mode. So this is going to be a white and red level 7 Digimon. He actually has no way of Digivolving up into him, so we're always going to have to hard play him, and he has a base play cost of 15, but he does come with 17,000 DP, which is the highest we've seen on a Digimon card yet. So what this card is doing is, when this card would be played, by placing one of your Shoutmons in play, in this card's Digivolution source, we get to reduce his play cost by 1, and then we get to place cards from our trash as Digivolution sources for a Digicross. So he does have a Digicross of -1 of Infinity Digimons with different card numbers and Cross Hearts and Blue Flares in their traits. So he just wants to work with a lot of Cross Hearts and Blue Flares, and the fact that it's unlimited Digicross means that we could potentially play him for 0 if there's just enough cards for him to pick apart from our trash, thanks to his first ability. And his on-play ability states that we could return the Digivolution cards of one of our opponent's Digimon to the bottom of the deck in any order, and return that Digimon to the bottom of the deck. So it's just your classic removal, except it's not a hard removal, it's just tucking, which is still pretty strong. Then, on top of that, his other ability states that during your turn, all of your opponent's option cards with security effects do not activate, so when he's going to be trying to swing into the opponent's security, it's going to be as safe as it possibly can be. So Shoutmon Cross 7 Superior Mode is going to be a pretty interesting Digimon to build around, and I think he's actually looking to be a pretty solid one, because he's a good late-game finisher. But only time will tell to see how good this Hunter deck will be, and how good Shoutmon Cross 7 Superior Mode will actually be. But as far as the set as a whole, it seems like it's a pretty interesting set, and I'm, like all sets, curious to see how it's actually going to turn out, because it seems like the two main decks that want to be supported is going to be the Rivals Hunters and the Heroes Hunters. So those seem to be the big two decks that want to be at odds, and it seems like there's just a lot of other good support for a lot of currently existing decks that we already have in the game, so it's just looking like a good set as a whole. So that's all I really have for this video. As always, feel free to tell me your thoughts down in the comments below, and down in the description below are a couple of different ways you could support me and the channel. So I do have a TCG Player affiliate link, so when you use that link to buy cards off of TCG Player, then some of that money will go to supporting me and the channel. I also do make and sell playmats over on Overcard Gamers on Facebook, so when you buy a playmat with my design, then some of that money will also go to help supporting me and the channel. And on top of all of that, I do have a Twitch account over on twitch.tv/Zenitsu, so giving me a follow and a subscription also helps support me there, and I do play Digimon on top of various other games on that platform as well. So thank you everyone for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.